What's up, Philly?
And the captain pull off a miracle. The shot! He scores! Miracle delivered! Giroux gets the game winner. Voracek walks in front and scores! He scores! Voracek wins it for the Flyers.
Showtime!
It's showtime!
Now, Andy Robb, Ken Prell, the Philly Hockey Guys.
Man, the professionalism of this show, it just keeps getting higher and higher.
Except for just right now, when we were abruptly cut off by our new voice guy, which is fantastic.
It's showtime!
I thought they said it's yo time, like it's your time.
No, it's showtime!
Okay.
And it's showtime. It's episode number 6.
Episode 6 of the Philly Hockey Guys podcast. Yeah, I'm Andy Robb.
I'm Ken Prell.
Thank you to everybody that still tunes in, follows us, and interacts with us on Reddit.
Still
Flyers.
tunes in.
Yeah, that didn't sound... Thanks for everybody that still wants to listen to us, I guess. I didn't mean it like that. I mean people that are still sticking with us,
Yes.
following the show, checking it out every week. We pride ourselves in putting out a new podcast every week.
Yes, except for next week, because
Yes.
you will not be here.
Ha-ha! Now it's my turn to go on vacation, sucker.
Yes.
I'm out of here.
Where are you going?
I'm going to Colorado.
Colorado.
Beautiful Colorado.
Excellent.
Home of that hockey team that nobody really gives a crap about. So that'll be fun. My sister's actually getting married.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Yeah, so I know she doesn't listen to the podcast, but if she
doesn't listen?
I don't think so. But if she is right now, I will apologize and congratulations. I'll see you soon. Shit, I really dug myself a hole here. All right, well, welcome to episode number 6. Yep.
This week has been, or the past couple of days, it seems, has been on Pro Hockey Talk, been Flyers Days.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, isn't
They've had
it?
a bunch of different Flyer stories, and the biggest one, I think, coming out is actually one that we just saw just a little while ago, asking the question, should the Flyers tank this year?
I could have used a laugh today, so thanks for that. I didn't know there were comedians at NBC.
Yeah, when have the Flyers ever even considered that? And Ed Snyder, there's no way Ed Snyder is going to
Or
go
Hextall for that
No,
matter.
no.
I don't even think there ever was a time.
No, we're not the Penguins.
We're not the Sabres. We're not the Oilers.
No.
We're not any of those teams.
Yeah.
I hate it. It cheapens the game so much.
I'm glad to see that the poll that they had up on their site, that at least 2/3 are voting not to tank this year.
Yeah. That other 1/3, stop listening to this show right
Yes.
now if you are in that 1/3 of people that are like, I think the Flyers should tank. No. You're wrong. You're a fool. Go cheer for the Penguins.
Because, I mean, it's not like this team is that far off.
No, absolutely
They have plenty
not.
of talent. They have 2 of the best players in the NHL. They got a solid goaltender.
We've talked about that a few times.
Yeah.
I mean, ever since that cup run in 2010, they might have dropped off a little bit, but they've still been consistently pretty good, and that talent's only going to get deeper and deeper.
This is not like the Sixers, where they have a bunch of guys who they just plucked off the street and are playing on their team.
Yeah, including Lil B.
Will be, yes.
Philadelphia rapper apparently is going to, what is it, playing for like a D-League
The D-League, yeah.
affiliate of the Sixers?
Yeah.
I didn't even know. I thought the Sixers were the D-League team.
I mean, they are just a joke. So that is not where the Flyers are going to go. So to me, they're a bubble team this year, going into this year. A couple of things could break right if the defense, if a couple guys step up, and they could definitely be a playoff team. But I'm still not tanking.
Now that we're on that subject, I'm going to hold you at that real quick right now, talking about the young talent. Maren says it is his hope and expectation to make the team this year out of training camp. Your thoughts?
Well, he was very close to making the team last year.
Correct. He was one of the last people cut.
So he's got another year of playing under his belt. I mean, I would love to see it. Right now they have 8 defensemen on the roster.
Andrew McDonald counts as 1/2 of one.
But
so
he's
they
on
have
the
7.5.
roster. But right now he's on the big roster. He's not going anywhere. I think what you'll see, I don't know if Morin makes the team out of training camp. I think you'll definitely see him at some point this season. I think the Flyers and Hextall are really setting themselves up to be major players at the trade deadline.
I could see that. I mean, that's stuff that we've kind of touched on previous episodes of the show. So if you haven't checked those episodes out, subscribe on iTunes today. Check them out. We talk about all that stuff.
And just because they have so many guys, and especially on defense, who are either coming up on this is their final year of the contract, or they are only have 2 years left on the contract. So they're looking at Hextall probably trying to pull off what he did at the last trade deadline, where he got rid of Timonen, where he got rid of
Coburn.
Thank you. I forgot about him already. Yeah, so I can definitely see Hextall doing that again and stockpiling more picks. So that's when I think you'll see guys like Morin come up, maybe a couple of the other guys as well, depending on how they develop throughout the year.
According to some sources, the two big names to look for that have the best chance of apparently making the team out of training camp is either Morin or Gostisbehere.
Yeah, I could see Ghost making the team.
Pretty good couple games with the club last year.
Yeah.
Scored a couple goals, too.
Yeah, but he's coming off of an injury, so we'll see how well he's bounced back and how healthy he is going forward. I think he starts off in the minors, and then he's another guy that I think, if not at the trade deadline, maybe a little bit before the trade deadline, comes up and joins the big club, and we start to see that youth movement.
Yeah, I don't see any holes in that logic, so that's perfect. A perfect assessment of what those two certain young players can do in terms of possibly making the team.
Well, one guy who's definitely going to be on the team going forward is Jake Voracek.
Well, I certainly hope so.
Signing the big contract. Again, one of the topics that Pro Hockey Talk brought up this week was, will there be added extra pressure on Jake Voracek this year?
It's a dumb question.
I'm throwing it out there. This is
guess.
NBC Sports that's asking the question. I think there's a tendency to think sometimes that athletes, once they get their big contracts, will start to slack off. I don't see that from Jake Voracek.
Mm-hmm.
Guy's been absolutely dynamite since he's come over in the trade.
True. Very true. And once again, I'd like to take that opportunity to go ahead and thank the Columbus Blue Jackets for that. Thank you.
Since the trade, Voracek has generated 189 points. That's 10th best total in that span. Giroux is actually third on that list.
That is incredible.
So it's not just one good season that this guy has had. He just turned 26. He'll be 27 when the big contract goes into effect. So I have no worries going forward at this point about Jake Voracek.
What player has more pressure on him to perform this season? Jake Voracek or Phil Kessel?
Oh, I got to imagine it's Kessel, because the Penguins are in a win now. It's all about the cup for the Penguins right now. And if Kessel doesn't deliver, that's it.
At least they'll still have like a cup of noodles or something.
Honestly, I think that's all going to blow up in Pittsburgh's face. I just don't think Kessel's a good fit there.
No.
Hell of a talent when he's motivated, and he may be motivated, but once something, if they get into a losing streak and the Pittsburgh media starts asking him questions, what's going to happen?
Wonderful, wonderful things with high entertainment value. That's what's going to happen.
So I don't know. I think that's a grenade in that locker room just waiting to explode.
Tune in for our news segment coming up during the regular NHL season, where once a week we will call Primantes in Pittsburgh asking how many times Phil has been in that week. We're going to have to pretend to be different people, I think. We really have to make that happen.
It's Pittsburgh. I don't think we have to be that creative.
Yeah, that's true. Yen's got that Phil Kessel down there coming to eat your sandwich of coleslaw and 13 pounds of coleslaw for one piece of meat. I can't even do a Pittsburgh accent. That's awful.
No, that was pretty good. I thought that was pretty good.
I fit right in.
Yeah, you sounded very uneducated, so that was good.
All I need is some LA Gear high tops, some jorts, and a pack of Dorals. Yin's going down on a date with your cousin down to Primanti Brothers.
All right, before we get in any trouble here, hey.
Get in trouble from who?
I don't know.
The people from Iron City? Hi, you've offended us in our terrible tasting beer. Ugh, Iron City is awful. It's like licking C-3PO's heel.
Oh, my God.
That's what Iron City tastes like.
That's possibly one of the best descriptions I've ever heard.
I'm kind of in going off on Pittsburgh mode.
Anything else you'd like to get off your chest before we move on?
I just really hope that, Primantes will let us know and clue us in how many times Phil has been in. I should call the Pittsburgh Zoo and be like, how many times has Malkin tried to climb behind the glass this week?
Oh, my God.
We're getting off track, but damn, is it fun.
Hey, this weekend is the big sale at the Wells Fargo Center.
So you can save big bucks on that Zach Ronaldo jersey.
Yep, the sixth consecutive blowout sale event happening at the Wells Fargo Center this Saturday, the 29th, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. I bring this up only because the Flyers Twitter page,
okay,
they sent out a tweet talking about the sale coming up this weekend, and then right underneath it, they put Psst, at Sixers and at Phillies. And there was a GIF from the movie Mean Girls that said, "Get in, loser, we're going shopping." So my question is, were the Flyers taking a shot at the Sixers and Phillies there by calling them "Get in, loser"?
Well, what does brotherly love mean? It's not unconditional, like, oh, you're the greatest. It's like, you ever have a brother? He'll be an asshole to you sometimes.
I was just dying when I saw that.
That is fantastic. So
Get in, loser.
I'm assuming the Eagles aren't involved with this sale. It's just Sixers, Flyers, and Phils, right?
Yep, yeah.
Save money on that Utley jersey. Save money on that Papelbon shirt.
Hamels, Ben Revere.
Wow, let's just keep rattling them all off because there's plenty of them. I'm pretty much already in vacation mode, so I hope you guys are enjoying us having a little bit of fun today because, there's really nothing going on. It's just so slow.
No, well, we've got a couple weeks before training camp starts.
Things are really going to kick up around that time with the show, too, going into the upcoming season. We are still working on it. A little bit closer to the season, we'll make an announcement as to our first official Philly Hockey Guys contest where you could win a great Flyers prize from the show.
And why don't you tell everybody where they can follow the show?
You can follow us on Twitter at Philly Hockey Guy because, once again, Twitter is very, very cheap. They would not give us an S. Phil Kessel ate the S.
But Facebook gave us a whole page.
That's right. You can also check us out Facebook. We have a brand new page there, so go ahead, pop a like on it. And, of course, share for share. Do you know a friend that's a Flyers fan looking for a show? Tell them about us. Tell them about the Philly Hockey Guys podcast. We'd certainly appreciate it.
Spread the word, please.
Spread it like Phil Kessel's rising obesity.
Man, Kessel is taking a beating in this show.
He's probably going to take a beating from the Pittsburgh media. Speaking of the media, this kind of slipped under the radar, but I want to address this real quick.
Okay.
On Twitter, about a week or two ago, there was a picture. Dave Haxtell took all of the Philadelphia beat writers out to lunch at the Olive Garden.
That's about right for the beat writers of Philadelphia.
He's like, hey, guys, I really like you guys, but only enough to take you to the Olive Garden. That was something else. But the big question is about that, and we asked this. Who took the photo? Who was sitting at the other end of the table? Who's the one that took the picture? I'm thinking it's Coatsy.
You think Coatsy was there?
Of course. Coatsy should be everywhere.
Yeah, he's not turning down a free meal.
No. Are you kidding?
Open bar, Coatsy's there.
Hey, gang. What do you want me to do? Take a picture? All right.
I felt so bad for Haxtell. You look at that picture, there's not a person smiling or looking like they're having a good time.
Very weird. But you know what? I have a feeling that Haxtell is going to know how to handle the media. I think things are going to be a bit different this time around with this upcoming season. Everything feels like a degree different, and the season hasn't even started yet.
I really hope he's combative with the media.
I hope he's bold.
Boldly fierce.
That's the new one.
That's the new one on their Twitter page.
Boldly fierce.
I'm still not a fan of this tagline this year, but
no,
it is what it is. All that matters is to play on the ice at this point.
Actually, that raises an interesting question, too. This is really off topic, but since we're talking about the Wells Fargo Center, the Sixers have that really cool animation that they do on the court.
Yes, the 3D.
Will we see something on the ice for the Flyers this year?
Oh, I hope so. That would be awesome.
That would be fantastic.
It's about time they step up their game.
Because I hate to talk about those separatist pigs, les habitants, but they have a really, really awesome thing on the ice in Montreal, the Bell Center.
Yes.
That is really impressive. It's the only thing that makes me actually want to watch the Canadiens.
Yeah, I would imagine the Flyers have got to be stepping up their game and doing something similar.
Oh, God, that would be so great.
All right, I know you want to get out of here, get your vacation started, but we got some questions we need to answer first.
Yeah, we can definitely read some answers from a question that we posted on Reddit Flyers a few days ago. This is our second official question.
And pretty much everybody had the same answer.
For the most part, yes. The question was, on Reddit Flyers, which Flyers player do you expect to have the biggest breakout season this year, and why. And the majority of people saying Brayden Schenn.
And I was kind of surprised at Brayden Schenn being the most likely breakout candidate this year. I just don't see it.
Well, according to Reddit user 3D Squared, he says, especially since he'll be playing for his next contract, Brayden Schenn should have a big year. Isn't this the same guy who was hyped as the best player not in the NHL when he was acquired? By no means am I suggesting that he's been a huge disappointment or that I want to see him gone, but I think both the fans and Hextall are waiting for him to really break out. Maybe 1 year under Hextall, or at least not bouncing around in the lineup under Berube, will do him some good. That I can agree with.
Definitely agree with that. I mean, I'd love to see him take a big step forward, but I think he's one of these guys that'll be around for most of the season, and then the trade deadline could be moved.
More input on Brayden Schenn coming from Reddit user FrankM95. He says, I think if B. Schenn continues to get time playing on the right side, we could get a solid 50 to 60 point season out of him. He really played well there at the end of the season, and maybe under Hackstall he'll get even better. But I've just grown to expect disappointment from Brayden Schenn.
See, that's where I am.
Yeah, so it's just as likely we'll continue to see mediocrity. So there's different sides. More people are optimistic. Some people are like, taking it with a grain of salt. So let's go to one that was an interesting submission, an interesting answer, but it's also one that we talked about very early on in the show. I think maybe like episode number 2. User Rusty Tire says, Michael Raffle.
Yes.
I think he'll shine if he's on the left wing with Giroux.
I agree with that one 100%. I'm looking for a huge season from Raffle this year.
Because if I may quote you from one of our early episodes, which you can always, of course, check out on iTunes, you said that Raffle was going to be, quote, the key with all of this in this upcoming season.
I think so. You already got 2 dynamic players on that top line, and I think Raffle was just getting used to the NHL ice last year, and I think this year playing under Hackstall, a more aggressive approach on the ice, and I think he's going to be the breakout player this year.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what he comes up with.
And I think a lot of people also looking at Couturier this year as making the big jump.
Yes, and that was actually my pick for this year. I think Coots is going to have a really, really good year. From user epoke28, he says, I think Sean Couturier is going to have an offensive breakout season. I think Hackstall will use him in a different role than Berube did, which I would hope so because he didn't use him very well.
No, I think Couturier could possibly be that second-line center this year. I'm really hoping so because if you look at his numbers in juniors, he could score.
Great point that you brought up. He goes on, Epoke28 goes on to actually say that. He said this will lead to more offensive production and hopefully get him back to his scoring touch that we saw in juniors before he was drafted. I do, however, think it will wind up going under the radar. I don't expect Coots to be putting up 40-plus goals or anything like that, but I do predict his production will rise and the Flyers' secondary scoring will finally exist again. And then as a side note, Epoke28 also adds, or maybe Scott Laughton because 1 goal would be considered an improvement.
It's not really fair to Laughton. He hasn't gotten a chance yet to really prove himself. This training camp coming up is going to be very big for Scott Laughton, and I hope he makes the jump.
All eyes are going to be on a lot of key players during training camp, which is set to kick off very, very soon because we're pretty much already in the month of September.
Yeah, we got training camp starting on September 17th and then a split squad game with the Islanders just a couple days later on the 21st.
Going back to talking about Scott Laughton, actually, user _Slate says this, if Laughton is giving the role of third-line center and performs well, I could definitely see Couturier breaking out offensively, and he even went down to put down a number for Couturier. _Slate says 22 goals, 56 points this year for Sean Couturier.
Oh, I'd be very happy with that.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we also talked about when Coots got his extension. If he rounds off at like a 50, 60-point player for how much you got him for, it's a steal. Here's a good one from user Heat in My Harble. I don't know that one. Heat in My Harble.
Okay.
Says, can we say Gagner? If so, Gagner.
Sure, we can say Gagne.
Yeah.
I think that would be fantastic if he breaks out.
Nobody said R.J. Umberger.
I think Umberger you're probably looking at, hopefully he has a decent start to the season, and then maybe we can dump him at some point during the season.
only time can tell. But for my offensive breakout player, I'm going to have to go with Sean Couturier. I really think he's going to play up to that new signing deal that's going to take place the next season.
And I'm excited about Raffle. I think Raffle's going to have the big breakout season.
I think the two of them are going to make a bigger statement, maybe even a bigger splash on this team this year than they have in more recent seasons. I'll agree with that.
And if they both step up, this is definitely a playoff team then. I'm off the bubble, and they're in the playoffs.
And I think a majority of people that are listening right now would probably go ahead and agree with that too. So, and when we get back from vacation, we'll talk about, the other side of the spectrum, what players might have a regress season this year.
Okay, let's go to another question from Reddit. Flying Fruit.
Flying Fruit.
Yep, said, absolutely love the podcast, guys. Thank you very much.
And we did not write that message to
No,
ourselves.
it's actually up there. You can look for yourselves. He says, question for the next episode. What do you think the lineup will look like coming out of training camp this year?
We need a solid top 6. So secure that top 6 first.
Okay, if I'm breaking it down right now, I go Raffle, Giroux, Voracek on the top line. And then if I'm looking at a second line, what I'd like to see is probably Simmons, Couturier, and Gagne.
Do you break up Giroux and Voracek? Because that question's been asked a few times.
No, absolutely not. They were dynamic last year. Let's keep them together. They're two of the best players in the league. Why mess up a good thing?
Okay, well, I'm just playing devil's advocate.
How would you break down the top 2 lines?
I'd be curious to see what kind of element Voracek would bring had he played right wing on second line, and then you can bump Simmons up maybe. But I understand you don't want to break up that dynamic. I get that. Just like how you don't want to, break up Reed and Braden Shen on the third line because they play really well together. I'd probably have to go ahead and agree with you. Try Sam Gagne out on second line, see what happens. Couturier, second line center. I think it might be a bit of a stretch at this point, but I'm not saying that he can't do it. You might see him starting out on third line center this year, playing with Bishen and Reed. I still have some kind of fleeting hope. A little bit of working with Hackstall could actually do some things for Vincent Lecavalier.
That would be great.
I could see him centering either the second or fourth line for this team.
To be paying a guy that much money to be your fourth line center is just ridiculous.
Yes,
but
I know.
If they have to do it, I mean, that's fine. But I'd love to see him be able to step up, play Hackstall's system, and jump into that third or second line center spot. That would be great, absolutely great for the Flyers.
I think
I just have my doubts.
I think Vinny will work better with Hackstall than whatever Craig Berube was trying.
Well, there
to
was
throw
no
together.
relationship towards the end of the season there, so it was not surprising that at the end of the season he was not playing or playing as badly as he did.
Clean slate, start it all over. Why not? I mean, there's nothing to lose at the beginning of the season or at training camp.
Do you think any of the young guys break this lineup? I know we got. We talked
see,
about Lawton.
I'd like to see Van de Velde back again.
Mm-hmm.
He played really well, but then again, you got Ryan White, you got Pierre-Edouard Bellemare. I like him a lot too.
What about Cousins?
Nick Cousins.
Yeah.
I could see him maybe playing some minutes for us. Probably not getting a roster spot this year. I think I would probably still take Lawton over Cousins.
So if somebody goes down, maybe we bring him up.
Yeah.
You don't expect any big things out of training camp and him making the big squad. Right,
not in
to start
terms
the
of
season.
Not in terms of forwards, no. Because
we just heard. I mean, we've heard the name for years now, and it's got to be one of these times that either he makes it or he doesn't.
Exactly. So we'll see what happens with this year. I mean, like I said, training camp's still around the corner, but I mean, that top 6, that's what you got to lock in first. You got to have those 2 first solid scoring lines, and then your shutdown third line. That's why I'm thinking Couturier is still a better fit for early in the season. Until we see where it goes, I still think he's a better fit for the third line. And maybe if he really performs and comes up with a fire underneath him, put Lecavalier second line center.
Again, going back to our first question of who's going to have that breakout season, I'd love to see Couturier do it. And if he's going to do it, he's going to do it on that second line.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a great story, though. He fought his way up from the third line and moves himself up to the second. I mean, you've got to earn it if you want that second-line center spot. Signing a contract doesn't automatically put you at that place. You still have to earn it.
But I think that shows by signing that contract that the Flyers expect that from him.
To be a second line center?
Yes.
We'll see. I mean, only time will tell, but I mean, he fit in really good with that third line. You know, that we're on the subject of players that we have expectations for this year. I really want to see what Ryan White does in year number 2 with the Flyers, because he was very, very impressive.
Damn impressive.
Very disciplined too, the way that he brought his game, but he had that kind of intensity. I'll be the first to admit it. I hated playing against him when he played for Montreal.
Well, the intensity that you're talking about was something that the Flyers definitely needed late last year, and I think it was a nice little boost.
Just like Simmons.
A smart player, and I think an excellent addition to the fourth line.
And then he broke somebody's nose on live TV. That was awesome.
Which we always like.
Yeah.
All right, let's get one more, and then we'll get you out of here for your vacation. Our favorite Reddit poster, Captain Butt Grabber.
Ah! That username is amazing.
He says, I'm glad you guys like my username. Anyway, great show again. Again, we're not writing this stuff. People are actually telling us this.
Surprising. We're not even paying them either. We don't have money. We work in radio.
I really enjoy listening to you guys. My question for your next show is, what are your favorite and least favorite Flyers trades in Flyers history?
Wow. I can answer that probably right now.
Okay.
The deal that got us Jake Voracek from the Blue Jackets is probably my current favorite. My least favorite, probably trading Chris Versteeg for Dan Carcillo.
Yeah, that's a bad one there.
No, wait, can I go back?
Yes.
Can I backtrack?
Yep, go right ahead.
Sending Gagne to the Lightning for a bag of pucks.
Yes, that was bad.
Yeah.
All right, my answer is this was my favorite trade and my least favorite trade all at the same time. The Lindros trade. At the time, I was so excited to get Eric Lindros.
Sure.
But then years later, when you saw what Forsberg did and the cups that he won with Colorado, it kind of was my least favorite trade. So, yeah.
But now,
so I'm killing two birds with one stone
now
there.
that you brought that up, I have to ask the question. If you could go back in time, would you rather have as your player, would you rather have Lindros or would you hold on to Forsberg? Looking back with everything, if you knew everything, hindsight 2020, what would you do?
I really don't know. Like I said, that's why it's one of my favorite and least favorite trades. I really don't know how to answer that. I mean, you look at what Forsberg did in the league, and he went on to win cups. You don't know if that would have happened with the Flyers had he had stayed. You don't know what the supporting cast would have looked like.
Imagine.
So I don't know. I really don't know how to answer that one. And one more question from Captain Butt Grabber.
The old captain.
If the Flyers were to introduce a mascot, what would it be and what would its name be?
I'm going to go with the Invisible Man because the Flyers don't need a mascot. Be like, oh, where is he? Oh, he's there. Can't you see him?
Well, when I saw this question, I was digging around, and I had no idea that the Flyers actually had a mascot at one time.
Yeah, for like a year. Just like the Cooperalls.
1976, they had a mascot called Slapshot.
And he looks like Woody Allen.
He was orange. Yeah, he does. He looks like Woody Allen with a pilot's helmet on.
And what's up with that Flyers logo?
Yeah, the logo was kind of weird, too.
It's a weird-looking mascot. I'm so glad that we don't have one. And if in all honesty, if I could have a mascot, I would just put the Fanatic in a Flyers jersey and have him work year-round. Because mascots are stupid.
Yeah, I agree.
Except for the Fanatic.
Yeah, the Fanatic's the only good mascot in the history of mascots.
Well, the Nittany Lion, too, I guess.
Colleges are a little bit different. But for professional teams, can you name me one other mascot that's good? Besides the Fanatic?
Like Columbus Blue Jackets have that stupid, like, green bee as their mascot. There's Sabretooth for the Buffalo Sabres.
Yeah, see.
Then you got that penguin that Van Damme kicked the hell out of. And
that's right.
Yeah. Was that in Sudden Death, right?
Sudden Death, yes. That was the name of that movie. Oh.
That's satisfying, watching that. But no, I mean...
No mascot for the Flyers.
No mascot.
Just keep sending out the Ice Girls, and I'll be happy.
I love how EA Sports is like making one of the big features of NHL 16. There's mascots in the arena now.
No one cares.
Okay. So why don't you make the gameplay a little bit better? I don't know. So yeah, mascots are dumb. The Flyers definitely don't need one.
No, not
We
at all.
already have one. Steve Coates.
Yep, he's our mascot. Coates, he's our mascot.
That's it. Done. Discussion over.
All right, well, let's get you out of here on vacation. Again, congratulations to your sister getting married.
Yeah.
Are you actually in the wedding?
I am. Actually.
You are? What are you?
I don't know. I'm one of the groomsmen,
Oh, cool.
so I get to.
Got to get yourself a tux, looking all fancy.
I'm gonna look decent.
You going to shave that beard off?
I don't want to, but yes, I have to.
Now, who does that come from? Does that come from your sister saying you have to shave it off, or is that your mom?
No, that's just me.
Oh, it's you?
I want to look
Wow.
nice.
Where's this maturity coming from?
I'm going to start growing it back once hockey season
Okay,
starts.
all right.
That's when it's going to come
All right,
back.
sounds good.
Clearly.
All right, well, you have a great time.
Thanks, buddy.
We'll talk to you after Labor Day.
Yeah, I know. It's going to be weird not doing a show next week.
And then once you come back, we'll be counting down to the start of training camp.
Yeah, it'll be about a week or so away.
Yeah,
Maybe like about 10 days away
Yep.
when I get back.
Yeah, so
Awesome.
very exciting. All right.
Fantastic.
Well, you have a safe trip.
Thank you very much.
All right, for Andy Robb, I'm Ken Prell. We are the Philly Hockey Guys. See ya.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to like the Philly Hockey Guys podcast page on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at Philly Hockey Guy and subscribe on iTunes, TuneIn, and SoundCloud.